Hey historians, this is Mrs. Velasquez, and I wanted to prepare this short video to give you a little bit of background regarding our current assignment that we're working on, our current experience that we're working on, which is our digital notebook regarding our living history for the COVID-19 school closure. So if you look in the folder that's provided, you're going to find that I have published all the directions, and also I've linked a copy of the presentation. So you actually have a copy of your digital notebook. But I thought maybe just talking to you a little more about the project might give you some context. Now, before we went over on spring break, I gave you a 5-day quarantine journal, and about half of you guys turned it in. And I was really happy that not only were you connecting to how you were feeling about the school closures and about what we see developing in the world, you were also documenting what you're seeing in the stores, what you're reading in the news, what types of images are on social media and on the internet. So as you read the directions, right, in world history, we've talked a lot about power, conflict, change, right? We even talked about before we went on this break, this pandemic is not the first one the world has seen. Most of us, we wrapped up our discussion of World War I and we kind of briefly touched upon, right? The Spanish flu, as it was called, was actually a worldwide pandemic that hit and was far more deadly even from our discussion of World War I. So when we think about, right, these events we've learned in history, right, how do we learn history? A lot of what I've showed you this year, right, is looking at documents, not just reading about the story, but actually showing you a cartoon or looking at the photograph or perhaps even reading the letters from the soldiers, right, in the trenches. So those primary sources, right, the documents that were created in that time period, you are now living in historic times. I think you've heard multiple places, right? This is unprecedented. This is something that is new, that is happening live, that we are experiencing collectively in real time. And that process, right, is something that future generations are going to know about. In the directions, right, I shared with you, right, for my generation, when I was in college, most of us have a story of where everybody was when September 11th happened, right? For me, I very vividly remember waking up and I was going to go to Cal State Fullerton and I was getting ready. I had the news on and, boom, the towers were attacked, the towers fell. I remember driving down to school. I remember sitting in the student union, right, collectively, and we're all watching glued to the TV. So there's all these stories I have in mind for that historic event. So what I want you to do with this journal, right, is I want you to reflect not only what you're going through, what you're experiencing, but I also want you to document, right? If students were going to write a DBQ essay, let's say, 50 years from now, and we were going to pull something from your journal, right? What could they use? Yes, you can think about, right? A lot of you, what you wrote in your quarantine journals or how you're feeling. Maybe you're feeling, a lot of you're bored or you're kind of feeling lazy or you're feeling a little nervous, which is completely normal, understandable, right? We're all experiencing this in different ways. But I also want you to be mindful in addition to what you're thinking and feeling. I want you to think about what can we be documenting. I think the gift from, having this remote learning, right, for most of you, you're able to access online. So if you see something in the news, if you hear the governor on the television talking about potentially school closures, for some of you already taken photographs, right? We've seen the store shelves being nearly empty, or maybe you take a picture of your toilet paper stash, right? Spoiler alert, I'm excited. I got a pack today at Costco. Or maybe, I joke about toilet paper. Maybe it's documenting all those memes, right? There's so many memes right now making jokes about toilet paper and all the Zoom conferences, right? As silly as that sounds, something we see on TikTok or Twitter or Instagram, right? Those tweets, those memes are going to be historical documents someday. So I really want you to sort of put yourself in the position of what would historians want to know about what was life like for a teenager, yourself, during this time period. So when you start thinking about this on that second page, right, I gave you 10 questions. The rule of thumb is I want it to be authentic, I want it to be honest, and I want it to be reflective. So at this point, I need to change this, right? Pretty much Anaheim Union High School District has declared that we're close to the 20th. At this time, President Trump just said that's been changed to April 30th. So we're going to see what the district rolls out. Obviously, school closures are meant just to make sure we're staying safe. So hopefully you're staying inside, you're staying connected, you're staying informed, but you're staying home. And that's the purpose of this remote learning, right? Is just to keep everybody safe as possible. So some questions, I won't read them all to you, right? So you can use this journal to outline what happened each day. I woke up, my parents were talking about this, we turned on Fox News and they had a story on that. You could talk about, right, maybe you go out for a daily walk in your neighborhood, what that experience was like. You could talk about, right, images if you go online. So each entry should be about a half a page of text. And I just wanted to share with you guys, like, I keep a journal on a daily basis. I write all kinds of stuff, right? I use it for planning. I use my schedule here. I do a little drawing in here. But one thing I wrote in my journal too, besides that, is I kind of just wrote, some reminders of how I want to be during this time period, right? So I just thought I'd share with you. So I put my mantra, so to speak. I put, my job is to show up with love for my students and be a good teacher, to love my family and to love my friends and to love my husband, to love the world by practicing social distancing, and to love this unpredictable, crazy world and embrace this transformation. Right? So more than just thinking about the negative, trying to really look at it as what can I focus in on? And I think giving you this task of truly being that historian, I think is really giving you power to take ownership of, yes, you're experiencing, you're feeling it in real time, but can you get curious? Can you observe what's happening and document it for future generations? That is your task. All right, historians. So for this week, I'm asking you to complete the first week of journals, which will mean there'll be 5 journal entries. And then I'm going to have a Schoology Dropbox for the first 5 journal entries. So I do not want you to think I'm just going to, write this all in one day. I really want you to sort of set that timer. I've also posted, of course, an online e-learning schedule. So maybe you just find a good time of the day to sit down at the computer or with your phone. If you want to, some people said, well, can I write it in a hard copy? For sure. I've had one student before write it down and then just take a picture and just put it in a Google document. So if you want to do it more hard copy, I invite you to. Just for grading purposes, we'll snap a picture and throw it on there. Okay, but for some of you, it's very easy to type in. And like I said, when we're collecting images or some of you put in YouTube clips, you can just grab those from the internet. All right, historians, so I'm really excited that you get a chance to experience this process. And if you have any questions whatsoever, of course, I'm here online. I'll be checking in with you guys. We can talk about this at the team conference. All right, so get creative, get curious, and get documenting. You are my historians. All right, I will talk to you soon.